Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Jay Hollingshed, your personal high performance mindset coach and public speaker. Thanking you so much for tuning in. I literally, if you saw my last Facebook post, which was probably 20 minutes ago, I was in a movie theater and I literally just got in the house 5 minutes ago. I walked in at 8:55. So thank you all for tuning in. My wife already jumped on. Thank you, babe, for tuning in. My brother, AJ Arthur Hollingshed, I appreciate you as well. I'm trying out my new mic. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, a heart, or a like, or something like that. I had to adjust and get another microphone. So if you can hear me well, just kind of give me a smile or something like that and we'll be good. So Gina says, what up, Aunt T? I appreciate you. All right. So today is Sunday, first day of the week, day one. Thank you for the thumbs up, babe. You can hear me well. Great, great. So Aunt Gina said, let's get cracking. We're going to get cracking. Today is episode number 231 of 365. Episode 231 of 365, and it's day one of the week, awareness and mindfulness. Now, my wife and I just got back from watching the movie Brian. Oh my goodness, I can't think of. I'm having a brain spasm right now. My brain is stuttering. So the football player that got locked up in prison, right? Brian, I think his name was Bates. It's killing me. Somebody type it in the chat if you can think of it. But we just got through watching that movie, right? And today is awareness and Brian Banks. Thanks, babe. So Brian Banks. Now, this movie is off the chain. And I said to myself, I'm going to be cutting it close with my awareness and mindfulness speech. So I have to find something in this movie dealing with awareness and mindfulness. Now, if you look at my last Facebook post, don't do it now because you have to turn me off. So do it when I get off, okay? Now, this movie is full of all 7 of my pillars of mental performance. But being that today we're talking about awareness and mindfulness, keep in mind that awareness and mindfulness is living in the moment. Right now, right here, right now, you are being aware of what's going on in the moment. And that's the only way you can take advantage of the moment, gain the momentum of the moment, and benefit from the moment, and make that moment your momentum and move forward, okay? You have to be in the moment to gain momentum. If not, this is what will happen. Here's one of the quotes that was in the movie. One quote said, spend too much time, and this was Brian Banks talking, and he learned this playing football in high school. He said, spend too much time worried about the last play, you won't be ready for the next play. If you spend too much time worried about the last play, you won't be ready for the next play. Now relate that to what you're doing in your personal life. If you spend too much time regretting the decision you made 5 minutes ago that you cannot change, you will never be ready for the next 5 minutes. Why? Because you're spending your time in the past, what I call mentally time traveling. So in the movie, if you spend too much time worried about the last play, you will never be ready for the next play. What's the play in your life? What are you doing right now? Are you worried about something that you did, something you cannot change? Take that and move forward with it. Let it go. You have to let it go and live in the moment to gain momentum to move forward. Now, another quote from the movie. I'm trying to work from my memory here, okay? One of the teachers or facilitators in prison said, 2 men look outside of their prison bars. One saw the mud. The other saw stars. One saw the mud and one saw stars. That's about perspective. So looking at perspective, think about this. Where is your mind right now? We're still talking about awareness and mindfulness, but your perspective has to be on the present moment. And if you are in the moment, make the perspective and set it to your advantage so you can gain momentum from the moment. I'm going to wear that phrase out, being that we're talking about the moment and awareness and mindfulness, okay? So 2 men looked outside of the prison bars. One saw the mud and the other saw the stars. Think about it. Where is your mind? And he followed that up and said, you have to leave prison mentally before you leave prison physically. If you don't, you will be back in prison. Why? Because your mind is in prison. And the thing is, I teach it all the time. The body follows the mind. Wherever your mind is, that's where your body is going to follow. Now, in the movie, Brian Banks, his mind was outside of prison. He was thinking about his freedom. All he was thinking about was freedom. I want my freedom. He did any and everything he could do within his power to get his freedom. Now, Brian Banks did all of that physically. Why? Because his mind at the present time, his mind was outside of prison. So he was basically preparing his mind. He was basically telling his body what needs to happen once we get out of here. We need to work on getting free. We need to work on freedom. He was practicing that in his mind. That's taken back to your imagery and visualization that I teach on Thursdays. Imagery and visualization. So think about that. If you are in the present moment and you want to take advantage of that moment and change that from a moment to gaining the momentum, from going from a moment to moving forward as momentum. You want to do that, you go to your imagery and visualization. Think about where you want to be. Use that in the present moment. Practice that in the present moment. Be here and now. Do that while you're here and now. Put yourself where you want to be, because put your mind where you want to be. Forgive me. The body always follows the mind. I don't care what you say, but in the present moment, take advantage of that. Be aware and mindful of your goal, aware and mindful of where you want to be, aware and mindful of what you are doing at this present time, because what you are doing at this present time, if that is not conducive to being where you want to be, if it is not giving you the momentum to push you forward to get to where you want to be, then you are wasting the moment. You are wasting your time. You are not living in the moment. That's all we have. Honestly and truly, all we have is right now. You can spend time worried about the past. The quote they used in the movie Brian Banks: spend too much time worried about the last play, you will never be prepared for the next play. Why? Because you're doing what I call time traveling. You're living in the past. And if you're living in the past, you're going to be worried about being depressed. So you want to move forward, okay? Make sure you live in the present moment. And if you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about it so much that you get anxious, you start to build that anticipation. Okay, you are starting to show symptoms of anxiety. You don't want to do that. Think about where you want to be. Don't dwell on the future so much. Just place your mind in the future where you want your body to be. Place your mind in the future, and then just start to make plans to physically rendezvous with your mental thoughts, physically rendezvous with your mind. Catch up with your mind. Your mind is already there. If your mind is there, it knows the path to get you there. So follow your mind, follow your thoughts, get to where you want to be mentally, and your body will follow your mind, okay? So you have to be able to follow your mind in the present moment. If you dwell too much on the present moment, like I said, you will develop symptoms of anxiety. You don't want to do that. Just put your mind out there and come back to the present moment. And as you journey to that future place where you want to be, that is where the process takes place, okay? The lessons you're going to be learning on your journey to where you placed your mind. Brian Banks put his mind on being free. He went through a hell of a process, a hell of a journey to get there, okay? But that journey was the here and now. If you worried too much about the future, you're not even here. Why? Because when the future gets here, it's called right now, okay? It's called the present moment. So the future doesn't exist, but in your mind, your vision of where you want to be does exist. The past definitely doesn't exist. You already went there. You did what you had to do. If you didn't learn something from it, learn from it, apply the lesson, use that as momentum, use the lesson from the past in the present moment to change your present moment into momentum and move forward to the goal you set and where you placed your mind in the future. So In a nutshell, I hope I didn't rush through all of that, but like I said, my wife and I just walked in the house at 8:55, and I started this broadcast at 9 o'clock, and I had to tie this into awareness and mindfulness, which is today's lesson, pillar number 1, which we talk about on Sundays. So this is consecutive episode number 231 of 365. I am Jay Hollingshed, your personal high-performance mindset coach and public speaker, empowering the minds of athletes to move forward with a high-performance mindset. If you haven't done what you're supposed to do today, which is make more effort than excuses, do the same thing tomorrow, but make more effort than excuses, not more excuses than effort. That's all that I have. Be well, stay blessed, and as always, through love, be a blessing. God bless.